testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, welcome. Give me just one moment, just a sec. Okay. Alright, you guys. For those of you who are currently viewing this, or for anyone that can see, right now I am going to head and just play back a cute video of how I basically did this and how the process I did this one. But first, I need to make sure that everything is correct. I don't know why this keeps happening. Oh. Okay, that's probably why. Okay, so now let's try this again. Alrighty, that's a lot better. Okay, and then now, just a moment. Let me go ahead and pull up Twitch. There we go. Okay, perfect. Alright, I think I'm almost ready. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is the video that I recorded for Twitch. Let me see if it'll play correctly. Okay, cool. So as you guys know, this is kind of what we finished last time for our artwork. Really liked how it came out very nicely. And so now, what I'm gonna end up doing is just playing back the video that I streamed on Twitch of me drawing and sketching out the current project that you saw before. And so right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and let this play. And let me just make sure that everything else is correct. Alright, so now we're gonna fast forward just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now we went on to the sketching process of this. And like I said before in previous streams and also in previous videos, I'm changing my sketchy process just kind of back and forth. Usually I like to be very detailed with my sketches, and that does end up taking a majority of time once I'm trying to paint or get anything done. But now I'm just kind of using messy sketches for kind of big projects like this, just because I know it'll take time to ink everything out and also kind of sketch everything into play. And so with this, I kind of didn't want to make it too much or overthink it too much. And so ultimately what I did was try to bring more of a vibrant intimate color with it. I know that usually when I sketch couples or when I just sketch my LCs, I always like to be extra refined with it. However, this time, once I simplified everything, it became a lot more easier. And so I know, there you go. So now during this sketch process, I kind of just decided to fill up the entire page. I didn't want to kind of start sketching it smaller, just to kind of have it inked out bigger and widen it. But this was overall the best idea that I came up with. Lots of the times when you're drawing or when you're just trying to come up with an idea, you tend to kind of wiggle and do everything around. But for this one, I really did like it. And it brought more life into all of my different methods once I finally discovered which one that I wanted to use for my sketching. There we go. And then of course, just inspiration and references that I kind of used for this. I know nowadays there is different types of romance novels and romance manga, manhwa, Wattpads and everything. So I just kind of wanted to simplify everything, especially going into the summer before I start continuing to practice more kind of watery ocean or even just sunny projects. For this one, I really liked it. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to end up using the different variations of light and also end up using the different variations of just adding shadows and rendering the process in order for it to kind of literally stand out and look good. There we go. And then of course, just also when it came to this piece as well, one thing that I really liked and enjoyed was kind of getting the practice with the fingers for our male character right here. Just again, practice makes perfect. And then once I start practicing more, especially when doing like more details, things like feet and hands in different drawings, it's gonna be a #1 game changer for me, just to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. Just like any other artist, I do struggle with hands and feet, and so I think in the future projects I'm gonna try to do a lot more than that, just to kind of emphasize the entire look. But yeah, so far so good. I kind of just wanted to make this a little bit more refined and abstract, just simply because I really did like the overall process with this, doing the simplified sketch just like in the beginning, just to get the overall shape. And then after that, once I kind of had the shape, I somewhat already had the whole idea of how I was going to ink everything out. I just kind of needed the guide map for it. And another thing I decided to do is also just kind of simplify it. During the process, and you'll see it coming up soon, I did add a tree to the background with the leaves falling. I think that's fine, just to keep it simple as that. I did have it in my head to kind of add more background stuff here, but I think I'll save that for the painting process when I try to figure out what to do. There is the old saying, less is more, and I think it's really good to kind of follow through with that, just so that there's not as much confusion and it doesn't seem like I'm overworking or I'm over exaggerating the work too much. Because when there's too much on the page, you can't really focus, and then you just ultimately end up confused on what you're doing. Just something that I learned when I was just drawing art and everything. And then for this, I really did like and enjoy the hair process as well. Just blending and moving hairs around. And then once you have the overall vibe to it, I feel like it really brings your characters to life, to kind of also emphasize the emotions that they're feeling in time as well. I watch a lot of anime and also read a lot of manhwas and Wattpads. And so the one thing that I really do treasure and like about it is just the detail. Anytime that there's like a romantic scene or like a really disastrous scene or just whatever scene, the hair is overly emphasized. And to me, I just think that that's really cute. There we go. I just wanted to get this feeling of the hair swirling and everything going great on the background. And so it's like there's a slight breeze or a gust of wind that kind of goes along with the passion of the hug. So basically talking like that in details like that, I think it's really cute, and it really just kind of emphasizes everything. Perfect. There we go. And so I'll go ahead and let this play for a little bit. You're gonna mostly see me sketching out her hair. And also make sure that I'm trying to also determine between his hair and her hair, just to make sure that everything blends a lot well. And then while doing this, just trying to figure out ideas and different details for the background that really emphasize a lot for each of the characters. There we go. There we go. Alright. And then during the process, you guys will see soon, I'm just adding in the separation between. I kind of really wanted to emphasize her hair details a lot with this one, just because of the embrace that her boyfriend is giving her. And so when everything kind of matches and blend together, it'll really stand out for each of the characters. Alright, perfect. There we go. There we go. Alright, now during this process, I was really just trying to figure out how to connect both the chin and the ear in order for it to match the hair. I kind of didn't want to do too much of an over exaggeration just because from this angle, I wanted both of their faces to be more prominent instead of just having his face kind of just turned to the side, and then I would have to work on the nose and then the mouth angle. This way I was able to emphasize and you guys can see a lot more of the emotion on the male character's face. And so that way it would be a lot easier, especially in terms of just making sure that everything was kind of done right. So that way when they were into each other, it really just kind of blended in with the page. did do a little bit messing up here, but it was pretty much okay. Just kind of correcting the hair process here while also making sure that I got the back okay. So after I do the ear, I will kind of fast forward a little bit just because I will spend time fixing this area right here. Just because everything got too blended together. Yeah, there you go. This was just me kind of fixing the mistakes. And now I'm kind of working on the lower parts in the body, while also making sure that I don't mess up the hair with it. There we go. Perfect. Alright, now during this process, again, simplifying everything and having less be more. I didn't want to put too much forethought into their clothes or his clothes. Again, it's just them kind of going out and enjoying their day when they're out on a stroll underneath the tree, kind of like a picnic. And I did want it to be somewhat of a summery kind of / spring background environment towards the end once I start painting everything and adding the tree. And so overall, what I ended up doing was making sure that she wasn't wearing anything too warm, just because you're gonna get hot. Something nice and thin, so that way it makes sense for the scene. And then for his, just some wrinkly, what is it called? A wrinkly t-shirt or just some wrinkly throwback. Not a sweatshirt, but more so, what is it called? Just regular clothes. It's like not really a t-shirt, but something nice, just for him to wear and have his arm exposed, so that way I can work more on the veins and everything, and just really have it just a nice center area. There we go. So now here, just working more on the top portion of his clothes. I didn't worry too much about the lines kind of mixing together with his hair, just because I know that when I do end up coloring, it's not gonna matter, since everything's basically going to mix together. So just keeping it overall nice and simple. Perfect, there you go. There we go, perfect. And then now, just making sure that I get the details on each side. During this process, again, the software that I use is called Krita. It does allow you to kind of rotate and then turn everything around once you start sketching and painting everything. When it comes to the arms, I do have a hard time, especially if they are at a specific angle. So that's why I had to rotate the camera just to get the big lump of the arm nice and balanced, and it doesn't look too overbearing for the character. So far, I really like this one. And it does set a tone for when I start adding the details to his arms and his hands. Both of them embracing her in this one. There we go. There we go. So then I have had someone ask me before how I kind of decide to draw the details in my arm, mainly for my male characters. Again, lots of references and muscle study is very important. I like kind of just putting veins everywhere just because I like it when it comes to muscular features. But ultimately, as long as you have a separation between each muscle, when it comes to guys' muscles, especially if they work out and they're a lot more prominent, you need to be able to distinguish and also understand where just where things separate. Excuse me. And so if I think I can actually bring up an example real quickly. Or not an example, more so just kind of a, that called? The muscles in the arm. Okay, so when it comes to muscles in the arm, what is the best thing to... There you go. Just having those distinct features. And just knowing where the biceps are and the triceps are. And then of course the branchioles, just kind of inner, interior and exterior of it. Helps a lot. So there is this one video that I did have to rewatch. I always save it a while back. And it basically gives you the whole breakdown about the muscles that are in the arm. That's very helpful, especially during this process. And it's also what kind of helped led to me figuring out where to draw my veins and also where to put everything. And so after that, the process, it was a lot easier and simpler, just to make sure that everything was a lot more defined. And it helped a lot, especially when kind of figuring out where everything was. So then when it came to this process, it really did help kind of distinguish everything and make sure that everything balanced out, especially when I had an overall feeling of what exactly it is that I did want his arm to look like. Majority of my OC characters do have some muscle on them, whether it's lean muscle or thick muscle, or there is a little bit fat, With Iris, she is just a little bit more fluffier compared to the other girls. So with her, I really did kind of emphasize having everything together. And so now, sorry. And so now for this one, just try to draw the veins and how everything separates. Just understanding key features, especially when it came down to where everything was placed. And then also having that grasp understanding of the position that his arm is in. And so usually if his arm is off to the side, or if his arm is kind of spread out, you're able to pinpoint and identify, okay, this is where this is gonna go, this is where that's gonna go, and then this is where this is gonna go. But since his arm is more so facing us from a frontward direction, you need to understand that where everything is, you have to think about it as a rotation. And so and of course I don't know every single aspect of where everything is, but just from a frontward view, there you go. Things like the biceps and the triceps and the branchials, that's going to be on the top part of your arm nearby your shoulder where the pecs and the delts are. And then this part of the arm right here that's embracing her, that's usually going to that's usually going to be where the other I guess branchial factors are. So that way you guys understand how it's labeled. And then of course me adding more of the details for his fingers and his hands also really helps it stand out a lot. So for his fingers and his hands, it's not really focusing so much on the muscle. It's more so just having the veins pop out a little bit. Just because I know that when guys and girls work out, sometimes their veins do pop out. And you're able to see that, okay, this person has a very strong, firm grip that kind of holds everything together. So again, I always kind of try my hardest to simplify the anatomy. I don't know every single muscle or detail. Again, I used to just because I had to study it for class and just medical work. But for this, I just it's easier just to break down everything instead of focusing on every little detail like, oh, this is where this is supposed to be, this is where the extensors are, this is where this diaphragm is, and then this is where the ECR and then the ECRL and the ECRB and the APL and the EPDP. It's just kind of a lot. And so it's just easier, like, okay, just have a standard shape, add some details onto that one, and then after that you have a nice firm grasp understanding of where everything is. You don't have to know everything about anatomy, just enough so that it helps you be able to distinguish and figure out where everything is. And so as I continue to draw the fingers, remember the triceps, the biceps, and the branchials, that's always going to be on the top part of the arm. While on the bottom part of the arm, it's going to be the flexor carpal urinalis, or the flexor carpi, and then the ECRL, ECRB, APL, and then the last muscle. And that's going to be more towards the elbow, underneath it, and it's going to be right underneath the branchial radialis. I'm probably saying all of these names wrong, and it is what it is. I'm not super fluent when it comes to the medical terminology, but if you want the specific names like the extensor diaphragm, go ahead and just kind of YouTube or Google it, and then you'll be able to see the name itself. Again, it's a lot of medical terminology, but as long as you have the key factors and the basics down, you should be able to know what you're drawing and also how to form your character's finger and also their muscle. So yeah, don't try to overthink it too much. A nice simplification is always the better way to go. There you go. Perfect. Alright, and then of course with the fingers, practice makes perfect. Simplifying that as well helps everything just kind of go better. When it comes to my fingers, especially my male fingers, it is getting a lot better. Again, with more practice, you're able to easily determine what exactly that you kind of want everything to look like. It's also just because I do like drawing his hands a lot bigger. It just helps makes the character and the shape turn out a lot more. So remember, guys do tend to have bigger hands than girls. And because of that, you do want to emphasize that he is taller than her and he is embracing her. And then adding some veins here and there just really helps makes the detailing with his character design pop out a lot. And so that's why I really do like drawing these keyframes. However, one of the common mistakes that I have made, and I did currently make in this video, was just not extending and making sure that I'm also flexing the hand, just given the position that it's in. So again, when you're drawing or you're sketching like this, you always have to kind of think a lot more three-dimensional instead of one or two. When he's hugging or embracing her, it's also like you have to draw that his big hand is being folded around her arm through the back of her shoulder with his fingers. So that's why I kind of drew it as a box method right here. I just needed to extend the box more so it kind of doesn't look like his fingers are bigger than his actual palm. The palm to finger ratio always has to be palm more, and then with the fingers you can extend them depending on the position of where they are at. So basically making sure that you get the fine details when it comes to drawing hands. There we go. And now, as you can see, I'm almost done detailing right here. Now it's just more so going through the cleanup process with the fingers, and then also making sure that everything wasn't too badly smudged in between. once we start painting our sketch. There you go. Alright then, so for now, over here, this is just me adding more details to her outfit. Again, simplification and less is more. Just because I know myself, and then once I start getting into the details, it'll be a while for me to kind of latch on with it and be more content. So just kind of fixing everything and then making sure that everything still extends out and stands out. turned out. Okay, so then after sketching out the base form of their bodies, I believe the next step that I did, or we're about to see very shortly, is me working on the background after the ear, and then after that working on their faces just to kind of emphasize the romantic aspect of it. This is actually just more cleanup, so I'll fast forward it just a little bit. There you go. Alright, going back. Okay, so now is the part that I start working on, just the background. Again, less is more. So when it came down to the tree, I did want to see if Krito's different brushes could add textures to it instead of me kind of having to draw everything in. That didn't work so much, so I just kind of decided to make a nice shadowy background and then just add that extra outline layer to make sure that everything matches well. There we go. And then now, just using different brushes and tools just to kind of smooth everything out. Again, during this process, I didn't want to overthink too much. As long as I got the basics of the textures figured out, it was pretty much fine. So that way I can start working on the leaves working on the leaves falling down and just having it really approach and trace my characters. Perfect. Here we go. Perfect. So I am actually gonna fast forward this process a little bit. Don't know what's taking me so long. There you go. So now after here, this is just me doing a little bit more detailing on the tree. So nice simplified version. And then now as I start drawing the leaves and also the flower petals coming down, I just kind of wanted to emphasize the emotion and the expression that both of my characters will be making, and then the background when it comes to that really adds a lot more. And so it's like one of those basic scenes that you see in shoujo manga, the flower petals kind of just falling, and then you have your characters underneath the tree. For this one I just used basic leaves and petal, simplifying it, just having them fall in different areas and spaces of each of my characters. And then later when I start adding the petals, I'm going to put them and arrange them in their hair and then just all around their bodies. And it's going to be like a nice cute little fun picnic. A nice cute little fun picnic that they had like outside or something. So something very simple while also emphasizing they're kind of in the moment impromptu date. There we go. There we go. There we go. I think that what I'm gonna do in later streams and also later videos is just kind of have more detailing on the character itself. So kind of cute little pin-up shots, or what am I saying? Pin-up shots of my OC characters. Like for example of Kimi going to the gym and working out. Or of Layla going out doing her cosplay, or of Iris just kind of hanging out doing her drawings. Just trying to get more inspiration on just kind of cute little details to go about while also drawing in some of my characters. So as you can see, just a nice healthy blend of flowers. So that way I won't have to do too much with the background and I can just really focus on the color. Just because, like I said before, less is a lot more. Just to make sure that everything's done right. There we go. Alright, perfect. There we go. There we go. And now I am going to fast forward a little bit to the part. Oh, there you go. I already started. So just making sure that I stay consistent with the facial expression and then just also with their vibe. I did kind of over-exaggerate their features a bit more in this one. Just because I do want them to come off overall happy and just very much into each other. And then of course, it's also the dependent of their background environment. And so just having things like having them have open eyelashes and their smiles a lot more prominent is what's setting the tone for this overall project. There we go. So for my male OC, it was pretty much very simple. I didn't want to be too detailed with it. Again, just a pretty smile brings your character a lot longer, or just a long way. There we go. There you go. So again, for each of the characters, everything's going to be exaggerated a lot more. Having things like their eyelashes and their eye curls just kind of really helps set the tone. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. And now I start working on my female OC's face. There we go. For her mouth, I did struggle quite a bit just because I wanted to kind of go for a really cute, nervous smile. But again, once I learned how to simplify, it was a lot better. There we go. Perfect. Here we go. There we go. Alright, so I think for the rest of the stream, I'll just go ahead and let this play out. Pretty much as I finish up this sketch. And then in the next one, I'll go ahead and start the painting process for my characters. So this is the overall image and result. Once I start going in, I believe I do add in just shading in her skin texture and his skin texture a little bit more off camera. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward just a little bit, just me kind of correcting and altering some stuff. And then ultimately what I did decide to do, with a little bit of help from someone in the chat, is just draw a cute little flower in the corner to kind of signify which type of flowers are falling. You know, something basic, nice and simple. Just adding more shading and details for the flower. Alright, and this is pretty much it. Of course, once I start adding, and I'll show you guys just in a second, it's the same image that you guys saw in the beginning of the video, but that is pretty much the sketching process for this artwork, this art piece, and just a little bit off camera. And then just a little bit off camera is when I decided to kind of go ahead sorry, and add in a nice shade for a skin tone, and then just give her some more blush to signify where they are, just for added more detail. So yes, for those of you who stuck along with me this long, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please check out my other social media link in my description. And then for the next stream, we'll go ahead and continue on with the coloring process of how I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this first on Twitch, and then of course you'll be able to see it on TikTok and on YouTube. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great and wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!